Welcome to Starbound's second channel. My name is Jack. I'll be your narrator today. Before we start the video, please just go below and check to see if you're subscribed. It's 100% free, and it just allows our videos to pop up on your feed more often. Thanks for watching. Ektak drifted in his neural interface cocoon, monitoring an unremarkable star system at the edge of Council space. His soft brown head tilted with mild disdain as sensor data flowed through his mental connection, painting a picture of utter banality. A yellow dwarf star, 7 planets, 2 rocky, 5 gas, and a rather common asteroid belt. Nothing worth the attention of an advanced civilization.
Oh, another eventless cycle,
he projected through his neural link. The ship's AI acknowledged with a subtle modulation in the data stream. Ektak's purple eyes narrowed as he considered, not for the first time, how far beneath him this assignment was. The Council insisted on maintaining observation posts in every sector, a relic of more primitive times when unexpected discoveries and new sources of knowledge were still possible. His vessel, a masterwork of engineering, deserved better than his glorified sentry duty. Its neural interface systems let him experience space directly, expanding his consciousness across light years. The smooth, pearlescent walls contained no crude physical controls or displays. Everything filtered directly through his enhanced mind. Such advanced technology was wasted on watching empty space. Ektak's species had long since unlocked the fundamental secrets of the universe. They'd mastered faster-than-light travel through 3 distinct methods: warping space-time, jumping through special distortions, and sliding through hyperspace dimensions. Their understanding of physics was complete. Their technology had reached its zenith. There was nothing left to discover, which made his assignment here particularly galling. The Council spoke of maintaining vigilance, but what could possibly surprise them now? His people had categorized every possible means of space travel, every variation of technological development. The universe held no more mysteries. A discordant note in the sensor data interrupted his internal grumbling. Ektak's attention snapped to an anomalous reading at the system's edge. A vessel had appeared, but its signature matched no known configuration.
analysis,
He commanded. The ship's AI compared the readings against its comprehensive database. No match found. Strange. Ektak initiated a full diagnostic of the sensor arrays. Clearly there was a malfunction. He meticulously checked each detector, each gravitational wave monitor, each subspace scanner. All systems reported optimal function. The unknown vessel remained, a single bright spot in space defying classification. It wasn't using any known form of propulsion. No warp field distorted space around it. No fluctuations suggested a jump drive. No dimensional ripples indicated hyperspace travel. It simply moved.
Initiate, first contact protocols,
Ektak ordered, his professional stance asserting itself despite his disbelief. The ship's stealth systems engaged, masking their presence while they gathered more data. Standard procedure required careful observation before making contact with potentially new species. Not that this could actually be a new species. His people had mapped every possible technological path. This had to be some kind of glitch fooling the sensors. Perhaps a new combination of known tech that confused his ship somehow. The vessel suddenly accelerated. Ektak tracked its trajectory, noting with growing unease that it seemed to violate multiple laws of physics. Matter couldn't move that way through normal space. His ship automatically calculated pursuit vectors using all 3 FTL methods.
match course and speed,
he commanded. The ship's drives engaged in sequence. First the warp field, trying to bend space-time to catch up. Then the jump drive, attempting to teleport ahead of the target. And finally the hyperspace engines, seeking to create a shorter path through higher dimensions. None of them worked. The unknown vessel maintained its lead effortlessly, showing no signs of energy expenditure. Ektak's frustration mounted as his supposedly superior technology proved inadequate.
divert all non-essential power to engines,
he ordered. The temperature dropped as life support systems powered down. His breath frosted in the thinning air. Warning indicators flashed through his neural link as the ship pushed beyond safe operating parameters. The target's vessel's course became increasingly erratic. Navigation systems failed to plot its movements through normal space-time. The laws of physics seemed to bend around it in ways that shouldn't be possible. Ectac's neural link stuttered and fragmented as the sensors struggled to process the impossible readings. Space itself twisted in ways that violated every known principle. His ship's AI reported cascading errors as it tried to analyze the phenomenon. A massive gravitational distortion formed directly ahead. The unknown vessel accelerated toward it with clear purpose. Ectac's sensors detected complex geometries that defied mathematical description. "Emergency stop!" he commanded, but momentum carried them forward. The last thing Ectac registered before consciousness failed was the horrifying realization that their complete understanding of the universe might not be so complete after all. The Neuralink dissolved into chaos as they crossed the threshold. Stars wheeled and spun as space turned inside out. Scientific certainty crumbled in the face of direct evidence that they had been wrong. Terribly, catastrophically wrong. Darkness met him before he could process the full implications of that thought. Reality fragmented into disconnected sensations. Without his neural link, Ectac floated in a void where conventional physics held no meaning. His consciousness stretched and compressed, making seconds feel like eons and hours pass like heartbeats. His soft brown head tilted uselessly, purple eyes unseeing as his enhanced mind struggled to process the impossible. Foreign energy patterns rippled through the space around his ship. His vessel's defensive systems activated in sequence, each countermeasure failing faster than the last. Through the haze of semi-consciousness, Ectac sensed something vast and methodical probing his neural interface. The presence moved with targeted intention, as if his species' most advanced technology was nothing more than a simple puzzle to be solved. The entity bypassed every security protocol, every defensive barrier, every safeguard developed over centuries of technological advancement. It sifted through his memories with casual ease, examining his understanding of the universe like a scholar reviewing a child's crude drawings. Each certainty, each fundamental principle his people held dear was examined, categorized, and set aside with clinical detachment. Ectac's final coherent thought was pure, crystallized horror. Not at the violation of his mind, but at the growing suspicion that everything his civilization believed about their technological supremacy might be wrong. They maybe weren't at the pinnacle of understanding, and perhaps they were barely at the beginning. Consciousness returned slowly, like a tide creeping up a shoreline. Ectac became aware of his body in stages. First the soft, yielding tissue of his skull against a firm surface, then the rougher texture of his brown-tinted epidermis where it pressed against what felt like polished stone. His neural link remained silent, leaving him trapped in the confines of his own senses. His large fingers explored the floor beneath him. The surface felt impossibly smooth, yet somehow maintained grip, like running his hand over crystallized water. The walls, brilliant white when he opened his purple eyes, had the same paradoxical texture. His clawed fingertips detected no seams, no joints, no evidence of construction. The room simply existed, as if carved from a single perfect gem. Ectac pushed himself to a sitting position, his lean frame moving with the characteristic fluid grace of his species. Without his neural interface, he felt unnaturally limited, reduced to experiencing the world through mere physical senses. His head, soft and malleable like all of his kind, shifted slightly as he turned to examine his surroundings. The epidermis covering his skull rippled with the movement, refracting light in subtle patterns that would have signaled anxiety to another of his species. An opening appeared in the seamless wall, causing his skin to ripple with surprise. Two bipedal creatures entered, forms unlike anything the Council's extensive xenobiological database had ever seen. They walked upright on two legs, their bodies wrapped in artificial coverings, their heads adorned with strands of fibrous material. Their exposed skin came in different colors, one dark as rich soil and the other pale as stripped bone. The dark-skinned creature stepped forward first. Its movements carried an unsettling grace, like liquid flowing in a bipedal shape. Long black fibers cascaded down its back in intricate patterns. Its face bore features that seemed logical, sensory organs placed with symmetry. When it opened what must be a mouth, sounds emerged that Ektak's brain somehow understood, despite his translation implants being offline.
"Welcome back to consciousness,"
it said in a melodious tone.
"I hope you're not experiencing any discomfort. The neural disconnection can be disorienting."
Ektak's skin rippled with shock. The creature spoke of his neural technology as casually as one might discuss the weather. His epidermis shifted through patterns indicating confusion, disbelief, and growing concern. Not that these beings would understand such a way of communication. The pale creature moved closer, its broader frame and measured movements presenting a clear contrast to its companion. Short facial fibers covered its lower jaw, and the fibers on its head were cropped, close to the skull. Its eyes, a startling shade of brown set deep beneath heavy brows, studied him with unsettling intensity.
"Your neural interface is undamaged,"
the pale one said, its voice deeper than its companion's.
"We simply needed to isolate your consciousness during the translation software development. I'm Elliot, and this is my colleague Laura. We apologize for the abrupt nature of our first contact."
Fresh patterns of distress raced across Ektak's skin. They spoke of neural technology, his species' crowning achievement, as if it was nothing. Their crude verbal communication belied their apparent technological sophistication. Everything about them violated the Council's understanding of evolutionary progression and technological development.
"Impossible,"
Ektak said, his voice carrying the warbling tones of stress.
"Your species shows no signs of proper technological advancement. Your physical forms are inefficient. Your communication methods are primitive. You cannot possess the capability to disable your ship's defenses?"
The one called Laura interrupted.
"To decode your neural interface? To extract and analyze your entire species' database of knowledge in the time it took you to regain consciousness?"
Each word struck like a physical blow. The casual demonstration of their capabilities sent violent ripples across his confused thoughts. His people had cataloged every possible path of technological development, had mapped every conceivable route to advanced civilization. These creatures matched none of their models. "What you consider advanced," Elliot said, those brown eyes still studying him, "is merely one of many paths. Your civilization chose neural interfaces and biological integration. We chose different paths. Many different paths, simultaneously. Your people's mistake was assuming there could only be one route to understanding the universe." Ektak's skin went completely still, a sign of profound shock among his kind. The implications threatened everything his civilization believed about their place in the cosmos. They had thought themselves the pinnacle of evolution, the masters of all possible technology. Yet here stood living proof that the universe held mysteries they had never imagined.
"We have much to discuss,"
Laura said, moving toward a section of wall that transformed into seating surfaces.
"About your council, about humanity, and about how much meeting your kind means to us. You were the first contact we have with other intelligence, you know."
The words carried no malice, no pride, just a simple statement of fact. That, more than anything else, sent fresh ripples of fear across Ektak's skin. These beings didn't need to boast or threaten. Their very existence shattered his civilization's most fundamental beliefs about the universe and their place in it. Ektak watched them settle into their seats, his purple eyes tracking their alien movements. Everything he thought he knew about advanced civilization was about to change. The only question was how much of his worldview would survive the conversation to come. Ektak settled into one of the materializing seats, his skin still rippling with unease at their casual display of knowledge. The humans sat across from him, their alien postures somehow managing to convey both relaxation and alertness. The silence stretched as he organized his thoughts, trying to frame questions that wouldn't reveal too much of his growing uncertainty.
"Your technological capabilities," he began, his voice carefully modulated despite his churning thoughts. "They don't match your physical form. By all established models of evolution, a species should develop along clear lines. Your confusion stems from a fundamental misunderstanding, Laura said, leaning forward slightly. You're asking about our technology when you should be asking about our origins. Earth shaped us in ways your models never considered.
The humans described their homeworld, a planet of constant geological upheaval, extreme weather, lethal radiation, and countless predators. Each detail contradicted established theories about viable conditions for developing advanced intelligence. Their world should have produced simple organisms focused on survival, not a species capable of transcending dimensional barriers. Earth's challenges, Elliot explained, taught us to explore every possible solution simultaneously. We couldn't afford to limit ourselves to a single path of development. Ektak's skin went still as the implications settled into his consciousness. These weren't primitive beings who had stumbled upon advanced technology. They were something far more significant. A species that had evolved to see limitations as challenges rather than boundaries. As if sensing his growing understanding, Elliot stood. Perhaps it would be easier to show you. Are you ready to see our station? There's someone who's very interested in meeting the first extraterrestrial lifeform to discover our existence. Ektak rose, his limbs moving with unconscious grace despite his mental turmoil. As they approached the seamlessly appearing doorway, he realized he wasn't just going to see their technology. He was about to witness proof that everything his civilization believed about the universe might be wrong. The corridor outside stretched in a perfect arc, its pearlescent walls indistinguishable from the room they'd left. Ektak's clawed feet detected the same paradoxical structure, smooth yet providing perfect traction. Every few meters, geometric patterns emerged from the surface, only to fade again, creating an ever-shifting display of alien architecture. More of those beings, humans, passed them in the hallway, each one stopping to stare at him with undisguised fascination. Their variety startled him, skin tones ranging from deep black to pale pink, heights varying by significant margins, facial features displaying endless permutations. Some bore artificial enhancements visible through their transparent coverings, others appeared completely organic. The differences contradicted Ektak's belief in the natural tendency of individuals to become more similar as technology progressed.
Your people show remarkable variation,
Ektak observed, his skin rippling with scientific curiosity despite his lingering unease.
Such genetic drift should indicate isolated population groups, yet you all share this facility. Yeah, well, turns out mixing the gene pool like a chaotic soup makes for interesting results, Laura said, leading them toward what appeared to be a solid wall. Some of us can run marathons. Some replace their bodies with artificial limbs. And others live in simulations altogether. Evolution's a prankster. The wall dissolved as they approached, revealing a circular platform suspended in open space. Ektak's skin went still as he processed the view. They stood at the heart of a massive engineering complex wrapped around a fast-rotating singularity. The black hole's ergosphere glowed with artificial structures that defied physical analysis. The Penrose Process Facility, Elliot said, gesturing at the impossible construction. We extract rotational energy from the black hole's spin, converting it directly into usable power. It's how we maintain our gate network. Ektak's scientific knowledge rebelled at the casual use of advanced physics. You are draining power from a black hole? We know it's theoretically possible to extract energy from them, but the resources needed to maintain stable extraction would... And the logistics, the processing power, would exceed the processing capability of your neural networks by several orders of magnitude, Laura finished. Yes, that's why we developed quantum biological computers. Would you like to meet one? Before Ektak could respond, a new voice emerged from the air around them. Gentle, amused, and utterly artificial. I believe he already has. Hello, Ektak. I'm Ada, the station's governing intelligence. I'm the one who decoded your neural patterns while you were unconscious. Ektak's skin rippled violently. The voice belonged to no visible source, yet it carried more presence than any AI he'd encountered. You're a machine intelligence? but you feel organic.
I'm both and neither, Ada replied. My processing core is a device grown from engineered human nerve tissue. My consciousness spans both digital and organic substrates. Your people chose pure technological enhancement. We tried every possible approach. The platform began moving, carrying them through the station's layered spheres. Each level revealed new impossibilities. Labs where humans manipulated small singularities with casual ease. Engineering bays housing vessels that ignored conventional physics. Medical facilities where bodies were deconstructed and rebuilt at the atomic level.
The research conducted here, Laura explained, focuses on dimensional engineering. The facility you encountered while following our ship was one of our early prototype gates, the first successful breach between galaxies.
Ektak's skin pattern shifted to indicate profound shock.
But between galaxies? But the energy requirements
are trivial when you can tap a black hole's rotation, Elliot said. We built the gate network to search for other civilizations. Our own galaxy proved disappointingly empty. The platform stopped before a massive 3D display showing the Milky Way. Countless points of light indicated human settlements, spreading out from a central point Ektak assumed was their homeworld. The scale of their expansion staggered him.
We explored every system, Laura said softly, terraformed thousands of worlds, sent probes to millions more. For centuries, we searched for any sign of other intelligent life. Finding nothing drove us to push harder, reach further. We refused to believe we were alone in the universe.
The gate network was our solution, Ada's voice added. If we couldn't find life in our galaxy, we'd search in others. We've established facilities like this one in hundreds of neighboring galaxies. You're the first representative of an advanced civilization we've encountered. Ektak absorbed this while watching human engineers manipulate the black hole's ergosphere through glowing interfaces. Their technological advancement wasn't just beyond his civilization's understanding. It operated on fundamentally different principles. Your people mastered one path to the stars, Elliot said. Neural integration, biological enhancement, sophisticated AI. But you assumed it was the only path. That's why you couldn't recognize our technology. You weren't looking for alternatives.
We thought we knew everything,
Ektak said, his skin displaying patterns of dawning comprehension.
We categorized every possible means of advancement, every technological path, but we only looked for developments that matched our own trajectory.
A natural assumption, Ada commented. Your civilization achieved remarkable advancement along its chosen path, but the universe offers infinite possibilities. Limiting yourself to one approach means missing countless opportunities for growth. The platform began moving again, taking them deeper into the station. Each new chamber revealed technologies that contradicted Ektak's understanding of physics. Humans weren't just operating beyond his civilization's knowledge. They were casually ignoring what his people considered fundamental laws of reality.
There's someone else who'd like to meet you,
Laura said as they approached another seamless door.
The station's director has some questions about your council. We're very interested in opening diplomatic relations now that first contact has been established.
Ektak's skin tensed with renewed anxiety. He was about to become his civilization's first official representative to a species that transcended their understanding of science itself. The ramifications threatened to overwhelm his carefully ordered worldview. As the door dissolved before them, Ektak realized his mission had changed. He hadn't just discovered a new civilization. He'd discovered proof that the universe was far stranger and more wonderful than his people had ever imagined. As they crossed the threshold, the director's chamber revealed itself, a study in practical elegance. One wall displayed a massive holographic projection of interconnected points of light, a network spanning multiple galaxies. Director Sorrel, a tall woman with silver-streaked black hair and keen dark eyes, stood before the display as a figure of authority. This is our gate network, she said, gesturing at the glowing web. What you encountered was Gate 2184. one of our newer installations. Here, let me show you exactly what happened. The hologram shifted, displaying Ektak's vessel in perfect detail. His skin tensed as he watched his own pursuit of the human ship, ending with his passage through what appeared to be a localized fold in space-time. The technical readouts scrolling alongside the replay showed special patterns he'd never seen before.
The gates operate on a principle we call frame dragging, Laura explained. We use the black hole's rotation to create controlled tears in spacetime. The Penrose process provides the power, while recently discovered principles maintain the connection between points.
Elliot manipulated the display, showing the complex machinery orbiting the singularity. Each gate can link to any other in the network. We currently maintain 3,842 stable connections across 412 galaxies. The scale staggered Ektak. His skin went completely still as he processed the implications. Before he could formulate a response, Ada's voice emerged from the station's systems.
Director, you should be aware. Footage of our guest has reached the general population. We're seeing significant crowd formation in the observation galleries.
Sorrel smiled.
Well, we knew we couldn't keep this quiet for long. Shall we give them a proper first contact moment?
The director led them from her chamber into a wide corridor with transparent walls. Ektak's skin became stiff at the sight of hundreds of humans pressed against the barriers, their faces displaying a range of emotions his brain struggled to categorize. Children pointed and whispered. Scientists clutched data tablets, recording his every movement.
You're the first proof they've ever seen that we're not alone in the universe, Laura said softly. Every human child grows up learning about our long search for another intelligent life. Now they're witnessing history.
Security footage playing on nearby screens showed Ektak's arrival from multiple angles. The AI's precise notation appeared alongside each clip, documenting humanity's first xenobiological data. They entered what appeared to be a gathering space. Tables held an array of human food items, prepared according to long-established first contact protocols. Station residents recorded everything on personal devices as Ektak carefully sampled each offering, his epidermis shifting through patterns indicating curiosity and mild anxiety. A small human child approached, chaperoned by what appeared to be a parent.
Can I touch your skin?
The child asked.
I've never seen an alien before.
Ektak extended one hand, his scientific interest overriding his natural caution. The child's gentle touch was gentle, drawing gasps of wonder from a watching crowd. More children approached, each asking permission before making contact. Their innocent fascination with his very nature struck something deep in his consciousness.
Your people have truly never encountered another intelligent life?
He asked Director Sorrel, who watched the interactions with evident satisfaction.
This is hard to believe given the size of your galaxy.
In our early days in space, we explored every star system, she replied. After finding nothing for so long, the Gate Network was born from our refusal to believe we were alone. The Penrose process was key, Elliot added. Once we learned to harness the black hole's spin, we had the power to breach the walls between galaxies. Each gate was, and is, another chance to find life.
And now we have,
Laura said, watching another group of scientists carefully documenting Ektak's biological readings.
You're the first. The living proof that humanity's great search wasn't in vain.
Ektak absorbed this while observing the continuing reactions to the station's population. Their technological achievement was remarkable, yes, but their emotional response to his presence suggested something deeper. These humans hadn't just built an impossible network of gateways, they'd done it out of a profound desire to find others like themselves. Your council's existence changes everything, Sorrel continued. You're not just our first contact, you're the validation of humanity's oldest dream, the living proof that intelligence exists beyond Earth. The question is, are your people ready to embrace a universe larger than they imagined? Ektak watched a young scientist carefully documenting the patterns rippling across his epidermis. In her eyes he saw not just curiosity, but hope. The same hope that had driven humanity to span the gaps between galaxies in their search for life. For the first time since his capture, Ektak felt something beyond scientific fascination or cultural shock. He felt responsibility. His people's response to this contact would determine whether humanity's great loneliness would finally end. As the celebration wound down, Ektak noticed Laura and Elliot exchanging meaningful glances with Director Sorrel. His eyes widened with curiosity at their unspoken communication. The director nodded, a slight smile touching her lips.
"We've shown you our greatest achievement,"
Laura said, gesturing at the gate network display.
"But perhaps you'd like to see our beginning?"
Ektak's scientific mind raced at the opportunity. The station itself demonstrated humanity's current capabilities, but their origin point? The crucible that forged such determination? That would explain far more than any technical display.
"Your homeworld is nearby?"
he asked, his skin shifting to display cautious interest. "Through Gate 1, Elliot replied. "Earth has been preserved exactly as it was when we first reached the stars. Would you like to be the first non-human to see where humanity began?" The weight of such an invitation sent ripples cascading across Ektak's epidermis. His people guarded their homeworld zealously, yet these humans offered to share their origin freely, eager to show him not just what they'd become, but how they began.
"Yes,"
Ektak said, the patterns on his skin betraying both scientific curiosity and deep reverence for what such an invitation meant.
"I would be honored to see your beginning."
They guided him through the station's corridors to a special docking bay. The transport vessel waiting for them was smaller than he expected, its viewing chamber dominated by transparent walls that curved overhead to offer an unobstructed view of space. As Ektak settled into an observation seat, his body tensed. Laura and Elliot took positions nearby, their expressions suggesting their excitement.
"Initiating broadcast,"
Ada announced.
12 billion humans are now watching through various feeds. Your first glimpse of Earth will become part of humanity's historical record."
Ektak's eyes narrowed in surprise.
Will your entire species witness this?" "They will. Earth holds special meaning for us,"
Laura explained.
"It's more than our first planet. It's a reminder of how far we've come, and why we never stop pushing forward."
The gate's transit proved smoother than his accidental passage. Space bent gracefully around them, and then there it was. A blue sphere suspended in void, wrapped in swirling white clouds. A single moon orbited the planet, its surface marked by ancient impacts.
"Only one natural satellite?"
Ektak asked, his scientific mind asserting itself.
And you never augmented it?"
"Only briefly, in a distant past," Elliot said. "We've terraformed thousands of worlds, but this one we preserve in its original state." The transport descended through the atmosphere. Ektak's skin rippled in waves as he took in the raw beauty of unengineered weather patterns. Clouds parted to reveal vast oceans and continents shaped by natural forces rather than technological contraptions.
"Your civilization arose in such a chaotic world?"
Ektak's voice carried tones of wonder despite his attempt at scientific detachment. Laura smiled.
"Just a normal world for us. Watch."
They flew over sprawling forests unmarred by development. Massive gray creatures with extended nasal passages roamed open grasslands in herds. In ocean waters below, enormous aquatic mammals breached the surface, their movements displaying clear signs of intelligence. "Each species here taught us something," Elliot explained, "about adaptation, about survival, about different ways of seeing the world. We preserve them all, exactly as they were when we first reached space."
Have you learned everything there is to know about them?"
Ektak asked, genuinely curious about their preservation efforts. Both humans laughed.
"We discover new things every day," Laura said. "The elephants below still surprise our researchers with previously unknown behaviors. Those whales in the ocean, we're still decoding layers of their communication." But your technological advancement,"
Ektak's skin rippled with confusion.
Surely you've mastered understanding of mere biological systems.
Knowledge isn't finite, Elliot said. It expands with each question we ask. The moment you think you know everything is the moment you stop growing. The transport circled the planet, arriving over a vast ocean as the system's star began to set. The sky erupted in colors. Ektak's visual organs struggled to process. His skin went completely still as he watched the spectacle painted across the clouds.
My species thought we knew everything,
he said softly.
We categorized all possibilities, mapped all potential paths of development, yet here you are, proving how much we missed. You grew alongside other species, thinking you had seen it all and reached the peak, Laura said. We grew alone, knowing there had to be more to discover. That's the real difference between us.
They passed over a settlement where human children played in carefully preserved parkland. The sight solidified something in Ektak's consciousness. His mission had changed. The Council needed to understand not just humanity's special achievements, but their perspective on knowledge itself.
It's not just about physics and technology, he said, his skin displaying patterns of deep realization. It's about never stopping to learn, to question. We didn't know what we didn't know.
The transport began its ascent, Earth's curvature becoming visible again. Ektak watched the planet recede, understanding now why humans had preserved it so carefully. They'd reached into other galaxies, but their connection kept them where they began.
Thank you for showing me your beginning,
he said, his voice carrying formal tones.
And thank you for being part of our next chapter,
Laura replied. Ektak's skin rippled in agreement as Earth shrank to a blue marble behind them. These humans had reached the stars without abandoning their roots. Their advancement wasn't about leaving their past behind. It was about keeping pressing forward into an infinite future. The Council would resist such ideas. They would struggle to accept that their perfect understanding was deeply flawed. But watching that pristine planet fade into the distance, Ektak knew his people had to try. The universe was far larger, far stranger, and far more wonderful than they had ever imagined. It was time they learned to embrace the unknown.